Hello, I'm BJ from Hearns Hobbies, and I'm going to have a closer look at this figurine here. This is actually a resin model kit from Hasegawa. And it is part of a series. This is actually number, 27 now. And their resin figures are actually really nice quality, and quite often hard to get them at this sort of price anywhere really. The price of these, I won't say because when you see this video, it may be years in the future or whatever, but these figures being 12 scale are about, I don't know, 2.5 times, 3 times the price of, say, a 35th scale resin figure, which isn't very big at all, they're little tiny things. So really good value, really good sculpting. Of course, you've got the female figure, which is a bit different to, say, your regular military type. But these have all been hand sculpted, the originals that is, and they're really good likenesses. All right, so subject matter in place. Well, basically it's called the American Lowrider Girl. This is volume 2 because they've had volume 1, which is a different pose, but it's basically a girl in a bikini. So let's have a look at the insides. Well, there's a box anyway. So you've got the box art, basic pose there, a bit like I guess a car show style pose, like a, what do they call them? It'll come to me, there's a particular name, like a race queen, I guess, as they're known in Japan. All right, on the back we actually have a painted example, and you can see how it doesn't very much to the artwork there. Pretty true. And then we have a prime version of the sculpt as well in the box, right there. So very well done. So there you go. So there's the figurine there, all painted. Golden hair, which is very gold. And the back section there, down to shoes. Okay, let's have a look inside and see what we get. All very well packaged. So resin being quite fragile is all bubble wrapped. Let me just get a little bit of paperwork here as well. Put that to the side. All right, let's undo the tape. And there we go. We have 2 bags. Of really nice cast resin. Now, why resin, you say? Now, if you're not familiar with resin models, resin is a 2-part mixture, which is actually poured into a soft silicone mold, and it's preferable because it holds much sharper details than any injection molding will be able to achieve. The process is all very labor intensive. They're all hand poured, and as such they are more expensive because they're low production compared to injection molded plastic. All right, so here's resin, and you can quite easily, particularly on figures, you can see the advantages of resin, because resin you'll be able to get into undercuts, particularly these areas here and underneath the hair here, and you don't have much cleaning up to do. I'll start going into tight close-ups on these, but I'll focus on the face first. I always like to focus on the face because that's the part which is going to determine just how good these figures are. And look at the proportions there. And luckily I've got the light at a point where the shadow is actually showing you the depth and the quality. So even the undercuts along here on the hair, this is where the silicone mold is actually able to go into. You notice that this has been sculpted with some blocks in place to help you align the arms. And you can just see a mold line. You see a little seam line here. And that is quite fine, very easy to sand off. And you'll see there's a little bit of imperfection here, but that's natural from the handmade process of casting. So things like that, you'll just trim those off a little bit with a knife and sand. Put the shoulder in there, just see how you get your fit. And then after that, you'll need some super glue or cyanoacrylate to glue the resin together. Now you'll find that some people, myself included, to add some strength, I mean with the blocks here it's already going to spread the load quite a lot of surface area, but just to make sure that it's very strong, we'll drill a hole through here and put like a brass pin just to hold it in place. Just add strength so in case you knock the arm it doesn't just fly off. And then go down to here. And you'll notice that the cut lines, or where the joins are, is at a natural line. So you see here the bikini line there, and here with the bikini line on the back. So that means there's less filling needed. And the less filling needed, less work, the more you can get onto painting. And painting on figures is the part which is the most intensive. So the hair's on, mainly in one piece. There's another part across this side, which we'll look into, and that'll probably just overhang the face a little bit. All right, so there we go. Very nice and clean. There's no air bubbles, which is really important, because quite often you can get resin products, and if they're poorly made, they'll have air bubbles everywhere, and they'll sit on the surface or just under the surface, which is not good because you get these sink marks. So they need to be all drilled out and filled in. But here, cannot see any visible marks, which means it's most likely been formed in a vacuum chamber. The vacuum chamber removes all the air. And under pressure too, because there's no short molds anywhere. Okay, so that's the torso part. Let's look at the arms. So we've got the arms. They're molding, and see the sprue here. And being curved, I would think this has probably been done in a centrifuge. And a centrifuge basically just forces all the resin to fly outwards. And that's probably why we can see that there's no short moldings or gaps. You can see how this part is curved as well. For the accessories, you can see all the string ties. So that's curved like that. So they could have been on the same mold, or they may not have been, but it's most likely been put into a centrifuge. Okay, so the arms, and there you can see the lines. Follow the bikini top, and then there's a small section that you'll need to cut off. That's a sprue, and that's basically because the resin is forced in this way, and you need some way of the air at the point here to escape, and so hence why they have these sprue lines here and here. Even so, there's not many join lines, so once you cut these off, they'll be really easy to clean, and they should, let's see if we can do a dummy dry fit without removing it. That is amazing fit. Look at that. And you can see how you won't need any putty in there. And if you do, like you might see a little bit of seam there, just a bit of liquid putty will be all you need. Okay, so you got that, and it's fully lined up for her hands to rest on her hips. And if we look on the other side, bit harder to show you because this sprue here is in the way, but that's a similar sort of thing. Yeah, really nice. Okay, so that's that and that. Here's the legs. Legs again have been split in the natural bikini line. You'll see here there's a little bit of sprues that you'll just need to clean up. Quite easily recognizable. That's basically just to get the air out of that point. Got the shoes. And then if we try this again, I might be lucky enough to get this in here. You've got some locating marks, and that'll also add strength as well. It's almost like pinning. And there we go. Very nice fit. So this side, and then also on this side. Look at the gap on that, very good. Okay, so apart from those major components, we've got the smaller part, which has got the section of hair, which will go across the face. And then you have the ties, so around the bikini top and bottoms. And then these parts, I'm not too sure about, which we will find out in the manual. All right, so here's our manual. Legend of all the parts that are going to be used. You've got a paint chart here with all the Mr. Hobby colors. So you've got these on here, which will be the C numbers, that's the lacquer range. And then you have the H, which is a water-based range. And then there won't be much to the instructions because it'll be pretty basic too. Blank on the back. So it's just single-sided. Assembly, of course, is pretty straightforward. Okay, so those small things were actually the earrings. So they're big dangly earrings. Got the 3 ties here. And then they also give you a reference mixing ratio for the flesh color and stuff, which is quite useful. Okay, so flesh color, got a mixture of 112 plus just a little bit of number 59 to get the tone. So you just follow it with all these, very handy. And then of course there's little guides here to tell you how to work with resin. It's in multi-languages. And just this section here. Make sure you clean it up, get all the mold release off. Use an old toothbrush. And then they're talking about degreasing with detergent and using a good resin primer. So there we go. So that is my open box review of the American Lowrider Girl Volume 2. Sorry, had a bit of a blank there. So 1/12 scale, this is number 27 in the range. Beautifully sculpted, very nicely produced, and really great detail. So that's 1/12 scale. So if you like that review, please think about subscribing. If you like this particular video, give me a like. And then if there's anything else you'd like to see, just let me know in the comments about what you like. So thank you very much for joining me.